Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today, we're diving deep into Omni AI's groundbreaking OCR benchmark. It's a really exciting development in the field, you know? The whole thing is open source, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. I've been following this closely. So, the core question this benchmark addresses is whether LLMs are truly replacing traditional OCR, right? And it seems they're making a strong case, at least in some areas.
Precisely. They used a massive dataset, 1,000 real-world documents, the messy kind you'd find anywhere, to compare traditional OCR providers like Azure, AWS Textract, and Google Document AI with vision language models like Gemini 2.0 and GPT-4. The methodology is incredibly rigorous too. They're not just looking at simple text similarity.
That's a key point. They're focusing on JSON extraction accuracy, which is much more relevant to real-world applications. Using text similarity scores, like Levenshtein distance, can be misleading, especially with things like invoices, where the layout might change but the information remains the same. That's a brilliant approach.
Exactly. They use GPT-4 as a kind of judge, comparing the OCR output to ground truth JSON. Clever, huh? And the results are fascinating. Omni AI's Gemini 2.0 Flash led the pack with 91.7% JSON accuracy, significantly outperforming many traditional methods. But it wasn't a complete victory for LLMs.
I see. So where did the traditional methods shine? I'm curious about the limitations of LLMs in this context.
Right. Traditional OCR still holds an edge on high-density documents like textbooks and research papers, and with standardized forms like tax returns. Plus, there's the unpredictable factor of content policy. GPT-4, for example, refused to process certain images, like IDs, which is a significant limitation. It's a bit of a wild card, you know?
That's a crucial point. The cost and latency also varied significantly, didn't they? LLMs seem to be more expensive and slower, especially for complex documents.
Absolutely. The cost per 1,000 pages ranged from near zero for some LLMs to over $20 for others. Latency was also a factor, with some LLMs taking over 20 seconds per page. It's a trade-off, really.
It's a really comprehensive benchmark. The fact that the entire dataset, methodology, and even the code are open source is amazing. It allows for reproducibility and further research. This is a huge step forward for transparency in the field.
Totally agree. It's a testament to Omni AI's commitment to open science, and the Data Explorer is fantastic. You can dive into the raw data, see the ground truth JSON, and even explore different document types. It's a goldmine of information.
Pat, I think this benchmark really highlights the strengths and weaknesses of both traditional OCR and LLMs. It's not a simple case of one replacing the other. It's more about finding the right tool for the job. A nuanced perspective is needed.
Precisely. And the benchmark is ongoing, constantly evolving to incorporate new providers and document types. It's a dynamic field, and this benchmark is setting a new standard for evaluation. So that's our deep dive into Omni AI's OCR benchmark. Thanks for joining us on Tech Bytes and News.
Thanks for having me. And to our listeners, goodbye for now.